Thanks for stopping by today. Got just a short little thing I wanted to share with you. Not really anything. I guess this is about my ancestors. I was going to say this isn't our typical, let me tell you about a story from the past, because this is more about me and what makes me from the past. This past week, I got in an email 3 reports based on my DNA test that I took. My wife gave me a DNA testing kit for family DNA to find out my ancestry and about my heritage. And I took that test and I got the results back. So I just wanted to share with you. I will say, first off, nothing really surprising, overly surprising. As you can imagine, I'm just going to go through my genetic makeup. I have been reading a lot, and the nice thing about the DNA test I took, they do have a lot of online tutorials to explain all about chromosomes and autosomes and just all types of things, haplogroups that I'll talk about here in a second. It was quite interesting, and I'm still in the process of learning some. But as you can imagine, based on my ancestry and what we know from Family Search, I am 99.9% European. But they also broke that out. Northwestern European, 96.5%, and that includes the breakdown of that, and they actually got some nice charts and figures here. I can't show them too good here, but British and Irish, 37.7% British and Irish. Scandinavian, 10.2%. French and German, 6.5%. Finnish, 4.6%. And broadly Northwestern European, 37.5%. Now, the rest of that is made up. 1.4% of my DNA is Eastern European, and 2% is what is classified as broadly European. Now, that last 0.1% is actually Native American. And what they can do is they can actually go back, and that 1% Native European or Native American DNA comes back almost 5 generations ago, actually 6 generations ago, sometime before the year 1780. And I thought that was kind of interesting. Now, what they did is they actually have a breakdown of my chromosome painting. This is all 23. I guess you get 22 chromosomes. They have different lengths. And being the typical engineering nerds that developed this, they called these chromosomes chromosome 1 through 22. Came up with a pretty cool name there on that. And then also you get a look at your X chromosome on that. So if we look down here, you'll see on chromosome number 10, there's a little space right there. Maybe you can see that. It looks white here. It's actually yellow on the report I got. That is my Native American marker. Okay, so not a lot there. I've yet to come across anything in anything I've read, but I just found that to be kind of interesting. I think that's pretty much it on that report. The second report talked about what is called a haplogroup. And haplogroups are kind of, what it says here, is a family of maternal and paternal lineages that descend from a common ancestor. The global distribution of haplogroups sheds light on the origins of some of our ancient ancestors and then on their migrations over tens of thousands of years. So on my maternal haplogroup, I am K1A4, and on my paternal haplogroup, I am IL126. And what that means, broadly speaking, is that for example, on the maternal haplogroup, with that indication, the K is split off migrations from the Near East into Europe. Notably, particular branches of haplogroup K are part of the founding and expansion of Ashkenazi Jewish populations. The highlight, it says, a well-preserved mummy referred to as Otzi the Iceman belonged to this K haplogroup. And if you remember, I remember even as a kid, Otzi the Iceman was found in the Alps and is actually the oldest natural human mummy that's ever been found. So example populations from my maternal side are the Ashkenazi, the Druze, and Kurds, which you can find in northern Iraq. Now, on the paternal side of my haplogroup, the I group radiated outwards from the Balkans to the eastern half of the continent. Today it's most abundant in Eastern Europe and on the Mediterranean island of Sardinia, which is found to be about 40% of the male population has the I haplogroup. An example of people or populations carrying this would be in the Balkans and Sardinias. So I think that's kind of interesting. I'm still trying to read up more on that, but they even give you a little map of the world that shows there's my paternal, there's my maternal, where those haplogroups come from. Really quite fascinating. I'm still digging into that. The last one I found to be a little bit surprising. This is what is known as my Neanderthal variants, okay? Going back to the Neanderthals, I have 301 Neanderthal variants, which puts me ahead of almost 83% of the customer base that use this DNA test. So what does that mean? Well, there's certain traits that are influenced by my Neanderthal ancestors, and one of those is group C, which says that you have one Neanderthal variant associated with having less back hair. So that's a pretty good one. And number 2 is D. You have one Neanderthal variant associated with your height. I don't know. But here's some of the Neanderthal variants would be low foreheads, high bridge brow bridges, large eye sockets, longer skulls, projecting mid faces. Anyway, I guess I can thank the lack of back hair on my Neanderthal ancestors. I haven't spent a lot of time on that one, as you can imagine. So, but anyway, it was something I really wanted. I was glad I got that as a Christmas present for my wife. Nothing really startling there. I would love to find out where the Native American marker comes from, but otherwise it seems to track fairly well with the things I found on Family Search. European, Scandinavian, that's the bulk of where we come from, and that seemed to match out with scientific testing, so I just find that interesting. So I will say that if any of my relatives are interested, I could send me an email, let me know. I'd be happy to, forward you the reports that I got if you want to take a look at them. And as you know, this is really kind of a random mix on how your DNA comes together between parents and kind of a little bit of a gambling aspect to it. If any of you guys ever do that, please let me know. I'd be interested to see just how close we all match up and where some of those other characteristics might come from. So feel free to reach out to me if you'd like to see those reports. I'd be happy to forward those to you. Thanks for stopping by. We'll talk to you again next time. Bye-bye. Oh, is it still going?